This conference will now be recorded.
Morning, everybody.
Good morning.
We're about to begin our meeting. Do we have any volunteers on the prayer?
Lord, we thank you for this day, and we thank you for this time for us to come together and do the work of the county. Lord, please be with all the citizens of the county as they deal with whatever's going on in their lives, and Lord, be with us today as we go through what's before us and make the best decisions for the citizens of this county. We ask all this in your most precious name.
Amen. Let's all stand and join me in the pledge of allegiance. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You may be seated. We have before you a proposal for agenda. Do we have any additions for the day?
I don't. No, sir.
Just a few. With the grass, getting some of the grass out there, even though this time of year it's about to die anyway. But I want to put that on there. Then I want to talk about Vivian Thomas for a minute and the new hires. I'd like to add that too. Eugene, Tony,
No, sir, Mr. Chairman.
Steve, anything?
No, sir. Mr. Chairman, I moved in that we approve the agenda with the additions.
That's it.
There's been motion and second. All in favor by the show of hands. Okay, that motion carries. Our old minutes were emailed or mailed to all of us. What's the pleasure of the board?
Motion to accept the old minute. Second.
It has been motion and second. Do we have any other discussion on it before we vote? If not, all in favor by the show of hands, and that motion carried. Mr. Stevens on you.
All right, sir. Yeah, you've got a copy of the financial report for the month of August. Take that look at it. If you got any questions, we'll be glad to try to answer them. It's like I said last month, it's the time of the year where cash flow is getting tight, but it appears I'm fairly confident we'll make it through. September is our last month of our current fiscal year, and we should make it through this month without having to hit our reserve. So I'm glad of that. Let's go on down. Mr. Brown, are you by yourself?
Yes.
Well, I tell you what, come on up and we'll go ahead and Justin Brown.
Ray, you come on up here if you want to.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, you can sit down. We're kind of informal
Sit right
around
from
here.
that microphone right there.
Okay.
Right there.
Man, the last two I've been into, they're pretty big cities, so it's like, all right, you gotta stand here and talk on this.
We're kind of informal.
Cool, it works for me. So I'm Justin Brown. I'm the new Chief Ranger with Chris Dooley, and I'm just going to give you another county. So I have Sumter, Crisp, and Dooley County. But I'm here to talk to you guys about Dooley. When I'm done, I'll take some questions, but I'll tell you like who I am, little things about me, and then this new change that has come about and how we got there. So our fiscal year runs from July to June, and I'm here to talk about what was accomplished in Dooley County last year on the forestry standpoint. The personnel is still the same. Marty Forth was the Chief Ranger. Knew Marty for many years. He was a really good Chief Ranger, but he chose to retire last August. So it left a vacancy with Chief Ranger. But you still had Roger, James, and Joey Stone. They're the three Rangers. Nothing changed with them. They did the best they could throughout the year of getting landowners taken care of, suppressing fires, putting in fire breaks and burning. So you'll see that. Still have 3 tractor plow units. We have 2 low boys. One low boy has a 2014 650K. Then we have a 2009 550J And then we still have an older straight truck that is like a 2000, early 2000 model International. It has a 1999 John Deere 450G on it. That 450G is still an open cab tractor. The forestry over the years has been moving to put environmental cabs for our operators. It helps take care of them when they're out working. We don't think about it, but during the day when they're out doing fire breaks, they get hot, they're wore out, and then all of a sudden at 3 o'clock we get wildfires. So they're trying to take care of these operators and keep them fresh, as to say, and it does make a difference. That's me from many years ago when I was just a ranger and I was putting in fire breaks. We'd get fires at 4 o'clock and I'd be wore out, and then I ended up with an environmental cab tractor. And it made a difference. I would actually be a lot more fresher and ready to go. But our equipment's on like a rotation, so hopefully very soon that truck and tractor will be getting replaced with a newer model truck and a newer environmental cab tractor. But we do have 2 quick response trucks, but that's going to be my truck, and then we have a backup truck. So my truck is still the truck that I have when I was in Sumter County. So we are actually losing a pickup truck, but it was Chief Ranger's truck. So that's going to be shifting to another Chief Ranger. Over permits were actually down this year. Actually, burning as a whole was down, not only with the Forestry Commission helping, but also in the county as far as people doing their own. There's the breakdown of the permits. 95 permits of agriculture. That's when farmers are burning their fields. They have to kind of notify us that, hey, we are burning. They get a permit, but the notification is what's necessary from them. Silviculture is your understory, like your pine trees and your hardwoods. When they're burning, it's got to be an understory. And of course, you got like land clearing, or like when people are burning big machine piles. Those are those permits. You see the total permits was 483 for 9,211 acres. That's actually down. So the total permits last year was 560 for 12,330. That was 158 ag permits for 2,735 acres. So the silviculture was 303 for 9406. So they're about 1,000 acres off, but the permits are right there with each other. And then you have your land clearing, which there was 99 permits for 189 acres. So, burning was down quite a bit, and you're going to see that with our numbers too when I call out what was done. So if you flip over, we got our burn assistance, and how that works is we go out and we actually assist landowners with burning, not just fire breaks. There is a cost to that. It's an at cost, usually by hourly on the employees, the equipment that's used, because you guys pay for forest protection. That 100, I skipped over it, but on the front page it talks about we have 103,531 total forested acres in Dooley County, and that's what the county pays. I think it's 10 cents an acre that the county's pays for. I can't remember. I mean that'd be what, 10,000 something dollars.
Yeah.
That's just for us to fight fire, us to stay operational. It does not pay when we go out and do fire breaks for people, or we're out burning for folks. That's why they have to pay. That money's not being used to service those landowners. They pay for like that cost. And our fire breaks, our burning, like I said, we did six landowners for 624 acres. The year before it was 10 landowners and 1,007 acres. So it was slightly down, but it kind of goes back to the burning in the county. It was kind of down, and it could have been from weather. It could be from different reasons from year to year. Our fire breaks was down. They did 22 landowners where they did 33 the year before, and they had, like I said, 67 hours of work, and you see how it's broke down where they're plowing and harrying. But the year before it was 120 hours, so the hours spent on the bulldozer was actually cut in half. And it's my job, and one of my goals is to actually make sure that we're servicing landowners and actually getting out there, advertising to people that we're here to help. How the fire breaks work, so to talk about the charges for it. So like fire breaks, currently right now, it's $230 an hour for the first hour that we go out and do work for somebody each day. So if it's a big job and it takes 2 days, that first hour of every day is $230, and then it goes down to $160 an hour any hour after that. And it's charged by the tenths of an hour after that as well. So like if it's 1.4 hours we do for somebody, they're not paying the whole 130. So that's how that works with the fire breaks. So like I said, the county's money's not paying for. It's going to use you, Mr. David. Like if you had us come do fire breaks, you're going to pay for that cost. That way, the tax money that the citizens are paying are not actually covering your fire breaks. So that's how that works. And the burning, like I said, there's hourly charges for the man and the four-wheelers that we use. Speaking of that, I was able to get us, we had 2 four-wheelers through some grants and different things. Some new four-wheelers got purchased for the Forestry Commission. I was able to get a 2018 it's a diesel Ranger 1000 brought to Dooley County. It was at another office that we'd screened it through the military. It just got a brand new motor put in it. We just got it from the military, but that unit, because of how that grant was written, it went to that place. So I got it, made some phone calls and got it made and brought here to Dooley County. So we still have another four-wheeler, a Polaris 570, but now we've got that Polaris 1000. So we've got some decent equipment to be used for helping landowners burn. Wildfires, there was 10 fires. There was 102 acres worth of fires. So, that's 10 acres of fire, the average. And that was up. The 5-year average is kind of how we judge things. Normally we have 16 fires for 41 acres. So we were down from the 5-year average on fires, which is a good thing, but we were up on the acres. And the reason we were up on the acres is there was a wildfire back in March. It was at Long and Priest Road. It had burned for several days before it was ever reported to the Forestry Commission. Not sure if it was somebody set the fire or it was caused by power line. There was 2 different causes that it could have been. But it burnt 77.63 acres. And so that's the reason why the wildfires was 100. We had 102 acres worth of fire. So if you take that fire away, we got just over 25 acres of fire. So there was one public outreach program done, and I'll tell y'all that's one of my fortes is I like to be out in the public. We did miss the parade yesterday. There was some breakdown and some communication between my guy and some other stuff, but no biggie. I plan on calling the schools and getting Smokey the Bear. Everybody loves Smokey the Bear, so I'm trying to do that. I definitely want to be involved in anything in the county that I can do and get out, whether it's parades or programs or just come and talk. I like to go and talk to people, especially at communities. I'll just use like churches for example. Like if they have a senior adult group with these wildfires. A lot of times we see fires that start from this new permit law and people not understanding the new permit law and they're burning too close to the woods, or they'll go in the house while it's burning, or they'll break one of those 5 rules. Well, that's where a lot of our fires start from in my 3 counties that I have. So I try to get out and educate as best as I can. I would gladly use the paper too if he would run some stuff for me here and there to put in. But I definitely want to do a lot more than just one program. I'm not sure the parade or a Smokey the Bear program, but that's one of my goals is to get more out in the public and get more involved. He services 4 counties, and generally they have these cost share programs that help landowners with burning and necessary things like that. And they contract the forestry to check and verify that it was done. That's one of his jobs, but also general advice cases where if Mr. Sanders over here has let's say 30 acres of trees and he's just not sure how to manage it, our foresters will go out and give you advice on that. They will give you advice. If you had trees dying, they can come out and try to figure out what it is that's killing your trees. And that's at no cost. They write stewardship plans for landowners. Those go at no cost. But he can't dive into the money side of what it takes. Like if I was to log my place, how much money would I get? He can't tell you all those things, but he can just say, hey, you may want to log your property in the next 3 to 4 years. You may want to look at getting it thinned and give you reasons why, give you recommendations on burning, which I can do as well. That's not a problem. So, and that last page, that's the breakdown of the wildfires of just how things started. The word incendiary, you'll see that on there. There's probably there was 2 fires that were intentionally set. They didn't even burn well over 1/10 of an acre. But catching arson is very hard. You have to have stone cold evidence of somebody doing it. Almost where you have to catch them in the act. But that's just a breakdown of those 10 fires. You'll see the 5-year average of those fires, how they're caused, and basically how we break down fire causes and how much they burn. So, does anybody have any questions about the report or any add-ons or anything that I can shed light that the Forestry Commission does? All right. Well, so y'all heard me speak about, so I'll talk about how I got in the situation. When I said situation, how I got in this position. Let me rephrase that. It's been a very long week. Luckily we haven't had a fire here lately in Dooley. We had a really late night fire in Chris County the other night, and I watched the sun come up because we got called out at 3 a.m, so I'm still kind of recovering from that. But so last year you heard me speak about Marty Ford. Marty Ford, he was here for a very long time. I think he ended up with 36 years of service. Like I said, I've been here 19 with the Forest Commission. I started out in Webster County, went up to Marion County, and eventually got to be the chief ranger there. Last year I transferred over to Sumter County, just with it being closer to where I live and just more accommodating to my family. And so when Marty retired, for a year, they ran, basically almost a year, they ran trying to find a chief to have somebody put in, and just had no luck of that happening. So they came to me at the end of May and said, we're going to try something. We've got to do something. We have to have a chief. So I had Sumter in Sly County. They moved Sly County from me and gave them to another county unit. We didn't have an office in that county. And now I'm Sumter, Crisp, and Dooley County. So it kind of helps out a little bit. And in saying this, so I said we have 3 rangers here. Well, I have an office in Sumter County that has 3 rangers. So in the event of something really bad happening, whether it's a large wildfire, these natural disasters, people don't understand that the forestry is not just a fire agency. We're all hazard agency. We help out with everything. That gives me 3 additional rangers that I can pull to Dooley County in the event of a disaster or something like that happens, or a major wildfire. I have 6 people at my dispense before I ever have to call outside of my 3 counties. It is definitely a challenge for me, but the thing is, I want y'all to understand, on the local standpoint, it's not going to change anything. It just changes the fact that there's a chief ranger. Maybe, I'm having 3 counties to contend with, but I'm going to be here. What I do is I split my time. I spend so many days at the Dooley Crisp office, is what we call it, because it's on 41. I spend so many days over here and so many days in Sumter. And just like if this week I was in Dooley 3 days, I try to be in Sumter for 3 days. But I'm available by phone. Very easy for people, landowners and stuff, to get a hold of me if needed. But just on the local level, it's not going to change anything operationally, just more administratively, if that makes sense. I actually have a background with Dooley County. Y'all may or may not know this. So when I was a ranger, I did the FFP program, the Federal Firefighting Property Program. I worked very closely with the likes of Kenny Calhoun, Don Sugar, John Goodrow, Mr. Christmas. I know all these people very well. And I was able to acquire a lot of these Freightliner trucks that we got. So I've been around Dooley County for a little while, getting to know, already knowing people. So I already have those relationships already built. So when they actually came, we had a little meet and greet for some people to come. and meet with us the 1st of June when they made the change. And a lot of the fire chiefs, when they walked in, I realized who they were, and I was like, I've already know you, so we've got a good relationship already, so it shouldn't drop off with anything. So, but like I said, I'm gonna do the best I can here in Dooley County. My guys here are gonna keep doing what they got to be doing, and we're gonna try to strive and do better this coming up fiscal year if we can with burning and plowing. But it's just weather permitting. I think it's because it was so wet, and then we had the hurricane that hit, and that shut us down too. So, but that's me. I'm Justin Brown. I mean, if y'all see me, please stop and talk to me. I'm bad with names, so I'll go ahead and tell you that. So, like, I may look at you for a minute and say, oh, yeah, that's Mr. Steve. Okay, I know who he is. Or Mr. Tim. So, but any questions or anything I can clear up that maybe doesn't sound right with that whole situation? Because we definitely wanted to try. We did try to get out and meet everybody, but it's hard when they made this change to do that. So this is my first meeting in front of y'all. I plan on being here next year, sitting in front of you guys, giving a better report and situations with the Forestry Commission. So, if there's anything I can do or answer, please let me know. Do y'all have an actual chamber of commerce that kind of like handles events and stuff like that? 0351.
I'll text you a contact.
Okay, because like I said, I definitely just want to be involved in some. For at least a weekend or two, but just try to be out in the public as best we can. So
The chamber does have a good email list that they send out
Yes.
notices of community events, so
yes,
at very least get you put on
And,
that. So
and I do attend the last one. Unfortunately, with the situation that happened with the Vienna firefighter, which I knew him very well too. I do attend they have a fire chiefs meeting every quarter.
Mhm.
I'm there. I will be there at those meetings, or I try to have somebody there to answer questions on the fire side of what the forestry does. That's just one thing I try to do is just to stay in with everybody and make sure we're in the circle. Because the Forestry Commission wants to realize, I mean, when I say all hazard, that's hurricanes, tornadoes, floods, train. I mean, I went to a little tabletop exercise where they had a train. There was a problem with a train and it caused a fire. Well, we have resources that help with some of those type things. So there's nothing too much the Forestry Commission doesn't say no to when it comes to helping the public. So
The Forestry Commission has worked well with Dooley County Fire Department over the
Yes.
years.
so like we actually I have a ranger over there now, have a ranger going next week, the Hurricane Restoration Project, which is where the federal government, there was a grant that paid, that's helping replenish fire breaks. We were ahead of that. But what people don't realize, like Hurricane Helene last year, we pushed 40,000 miles of highway. And there's no DOT people here, but I can assure you that people were like, the forestry did all that? Yes. The forestry is one of the leading agencies that took the helm and took off. So it seems to me like the state legislators taking a whole lot of notice to what the forestry does too. So they're really starting to help us out with equipment and things that we need because they realize how much the Forestry Commission does. So if y'all ever have any questions, please by all means call me, ask me.
I got a few now.
Yes,
I guess I'm pronouncing it right. Incendiary.
yes,
What's that?
that would be arson.
Oh, that what you're
That's
talking about.
that's for arson, and I have caught an arsonist in my career. It's nothing I'm really proud of because I kind of hated that.
Mhm.
But for 3 years over in Marion County where I was at, he had set fires. He set 34 fires, and we finally we basically caught him red-handed that day. But
Wasn't Ernest T. Bad, was it?
no, it was not. No, it was not. But that's just one of those unfortunate things. Some people just do things to be mean to other folks. And if you really want to get on my bad side, let me find out you lighting the fire. especially like on the weekend. If I'm enjoying time with my family and you intentionally setting somebody's stuff on fire, I'm gonna be a little ill if I find you. But that's what that is. That's incendiary. Very seldom do we have those, but you'll have a case or two where there may be. And incendiary means also, and I'll just use it for an example. If Mr. Tony's got a piece of property over here and Mr. Eugene goes over here and decides he's going to burn or let his fire just keep on burning, it burns over onto Mr. Tony's without permission or anything like that, that's arson.
But see, that was gonna be my next question. How far do you have to be from the property line?
Oh, no, you have to have fire breaks.
Can you-
So when burning occurs, they have to have fire breaks. You have to have a reasonable way to stop the fire. Well, if you're burning in the woods, you have to have some type of fire breaks. You're not going to stop a fire just to stop it. I heard people say one time we went to a fire, a guy was burning his yard off, burning his yard, but taller grass. And literally it got on the neighbor's property and we put it out and everything. And we was like, what was you using to stop the fire? He said, oh, well, my fence line right there was going to stop it. The fence line wasn't going to stop it. The fence line was just as much grass as anything. So he got in trouble for that. But you have to have a reasonable way of stopping a fire. If not, you become what a court calls negligent. And that's words you don't want said in court if you're there. So,
Because that means your insurance.
that means your insurance or your own pocketbook's going to pay. That's why it's important that we get out in the public and we try to educate people, especially with burning hand piles, because they have to follow those 5-star rules now about you have to be 50 feet from any structure. And that's any structure. That's just not your house. That's if you have a shop. If you have a shop, you have to be 50 feet from it. You have to have a charged water line, meaning a water hose at the pile, not 100 feet from the pile. At the pile, you have to have a rake. You should have it raked around. You have to have a rake or some type of tool to be able to smother the fire out if needed to. You have to burn in daylight hours, and you you have to be there the whole time. That doesn't mean that you burn your leaves and it's still out there smoking. So technically, we're smoke. There's fire, and you get in your truck and you go to the store, and you come back, and now your fire got away and it's done caught the neighbors. You will get what we call suppression charges, which is the same thing somebody gets whenever they're burning without a permit and their fire escapes. And that's where they pay for our time and our response. It is not cheap. The minimum, well, I'll say the minimum, if I have a fire that I go to, let's say you were burning and your fire got out, and I'm coming from the dually office as well as one of our big trucks. Anytime we have a fire, our big truck is going to come with that dozer. That dozer is $260 for that $230 for that first hour, plus that man that's on there. So that man's another $40. So you're talking about $300 just for him to come out there, and he may not even have to do anything. And whenever he leaves, you're charged for 1 hour plus my time and my mileage as well. So my mileage is like 75 or 80 cents a mile, but just at the bare minimum, you're already at $300 plus dollars. So that's why that education of being out in the public and getting as much of it out as I can is why I try to. Because I hate having to write those little tickets and then they get a bill in the mail. I did have a guy over in Sumter. He was doing it. It actually got away, hit a power line, burnt 16 acres. We were there for almost 3 hours. It cost him almost $900 just because he burnt a pile way too close to he was not in the middle of the yard. So things like that happen. We understand it. So.
Well, you mentioned the education. The homeowner, when they have that pile, it's going to push it their property line.
They're going to push it their property line.
And but the biggest issue is they don't know what they
can and can't burn.
Put on that pile.
Leaves and limbs, natural vegetation.
Right.
That does not mean 2x4s. That don't mean shingles.
Right.
If you get caught during that, you might be following all the rules. If usually when we get called to something like that, we do what we call an EPD referral, which means the EPD is going to come and pay them a visit. Yeah. And their fine's a lot steeper than mine. And I try to work with people. Probably shouldn't say that. I try to work with people and say, hey, you can go ahead and just pay mine this first time, and I'm not going to call the EPD. But if I come back out here I'm gonna call the EPD, and there's a lot steeper fine than my little $300 fine. I mean, they're gonna wish they got that $300 fine. It's very expensive. It's up for what I understand. It's $1,000 first. It's usually about $1,000, but I can't officially say that. But I mean, that's about what I
Well, and that's
understand.
the homeowners, they don't realize you
Yeah.
can't do things the old way anymore.
No, and years ago, well, we had a grace period with this whole rule of that we had a grace period, but that was in 2021 when the law changed. There's been enough put out on social media and public and our advertising that we've got it out there, so it's out there. There's access, and also our website is gatrees.org, and landowners can go there as well and find out those rules. They're there black and white. I mean, it's even got a YouTube video. They can YouTube Georgia Forest Commission. I think it's 5-star rule. There's about a 3-minute video, and it shows them how to, and it speaks on the leaves and limbs. No man-made material. So that 2x4 becomes man-made when that chainsaw hits it in the woods and it hits that log truck. It's considered man-made material as soon as that saw blade hits it. So we can't just burn 2x4s and things like that. So
Okay.
I think I took up enough of y'all's time. I appreciate you guys coming. Always, if y'all want to come visit, just give us a shout. Come down and visit the office. We always welcome that. And you can see the things that we have and the tools that we have that we work with. So, all right, y'all take care.
Thanks, Zach. All right, item number 3 on the agenda, the bridge on Bowen Road. We're still waiting to hear back from DOT on that. Item number 4, just a reminder about we're eligible for FY 2026 LMIC program. We're eligible for $832,000, and our Public Works Director Rodney Hare and our engineer Lance Woods are looking at projects, and hopefully we'll have a proposed list in the next coming meetings. Item number 5, the proposed ordinance regulating cryptocurrency mining facilities. Just so you'll know the proposed schedule, the Planning Commission will be conducting a public hearing to receive comments at their October 13th meeting. And then after that meeting, they will be making a recommendation to the county commissioners. The county commissioners will hold a public hearing during our October 16th meeting. And then after the public hearings and consideration of the Planning Commission's recommendation, the board will consider adopting the proposed ordinance. In a related issue, the owners of the former Roseburg particle board plant site has sent a request to the city of Ina for that site to be annexed into the city of Ina. That process has started, but we're still going to proceed with adopting an ordinance. But we may have another situation somewhere in the county that come into play.
And or the annexation may not get approved.
May not go
or
through.
may get withdrawn.
Right.
And so we need to just proceed in normal course.
Item number 6, just information. The county is currently receiving resumes for the next county administrator. The deadline to submit a resume is September 30th. And I believe as of yesterday, there was about 34, somewhere around there, resumes have been received. Item number 7, that was about the homecoming parade yesterday. Okay, item number 8, we got to wait till 10 o'clock to hold a public hearing on the proposed 2025 proposed millage rate. We'll skip that, and the budget, we'll skip all of that till after 10 o'clock. Public hearing. Our EMA Director, Don Williford, is working on getting the Dooley County multi-jurisdictional hazard mitigation plan updated. This is a plan that, in order for Dooley County and the municipalities to remain eligible for federal assistance if in case of a hurricane or any situation like that, we have to periodically update this hazard mitigation plan. Years ago, the cities individually used to do a plan and the county did a plan independently of each other. Several years ago, the state recommended, encouraged the county to adopt one plan that covered the county and all the cities. That's why they call it a multi-jurisdictional hazard mitigation plan. Don had hoped to have some paperwork for y'all to approve, but I haven't seen that, so we'll keep that on the agenda for the next meeting. Item number 12, Resource Management Systems, or RMS, is preparing the county's application for FY27 Georgia Department of Transportation funding for our public transit service. And just remind everybody, Dooley County contracts with DOT to receive funding for a transit service. Then we in turn turn around and contract with RMS to be what DOT considers a third-party operator. So RMS operates our transit service. The only funding that they get is the funding that the county gets from DOT. Then they, between the DOT funding they receive and the fees that they charge for riders, which is a nominal fee, that's how they operate the service. So it does not cost the county anything other than basically my time to review, because RMS actually prepares the paperwork that has to be submitted to DOT each month to get reimbursement. But RMS prepares the paperwork, submits it to me, I review it, approve it, and sign it, and then it gets sent to DOT, and then DOT sends the money to us, then we turn around, deposit that, and then write RMS a check each month for DOT portion of the money. So, but there are several, and y'all had already authorized RMS to submit the application. I just need to get the chairman's signature on several documents here. And if I didn't make myself a note, I might would forget to get his signature and then have to call him later and he'll come back in. So let's see here.
That's pretty good, lady.
That's okay.
Huh?
That's okay.
He doesn't complain, to me anyway.
Not tell you that side.
And all I can tell you is, this is just showing that y'all had previously voted to authorize this application be submitted. Need your signature right there. And this, you're saying that we do meet all the requirements of equal employment opportunity. Please, sir. And then we are saying that we did publish the required public notice of all of this, which we have there. In this, you're saying that we do not intend to use our public transit for a charter service for private purposes.
There goes the gambling trip.
What about the church group?
And that we maintain a drug-free workplace.
Whole book, ain't it?
This is another form, a second form saying we will make a good faith effort to continue a drug-free workplace. Yes, sir. Well, part of the reason for all this paperwork is the DOT money. Most of the DOT money we get from Georgia Department of Transportation actually comes from the federal government, so that's the reason for all these. You may be a little bit familiar with some federal paperwork.
Oh, yeah.
This is saying we will comply with Title VI, which is the Civil Rights Assurance Act. There. And we're certifying that we are eligible to receive federal funds.
Then my hand will start shaking.
Explain no hammer.
Right.
Are you counting those?
What, about 10 already?
And this is saying we will use none of the federal money to lobby any politicians for favors.
Next time, I'm gonna stick something in there and get him to sign. Maybe a check. I know you're reading all this before you sign.
Oh, yeah, man, you know, yeah. I'm hoping Mr. C.
I have.
Trust is what we're doing here.
I have. And this is saying we will agree to meet all their rules and regulations other than what we've already signed.
Is that an omnibus clause? Omnibus, what that mean? All encompassing.
This is saying we're agreeing to abide by DOT's transit asset management plan.
Think about how many people it takes to manage the prospect. It's Dooley County Transit, it's got the name on it.
And this is saying that we acknowledge that these funds will be used solely for the purpose of rural transit in Dooley County.
It's being funded
We
completely
can't
by
change no
Congress.
better.
Nope,
No, these ones.
no.
We get nothing from it. The state gets a little cut from it, I guess, to administer it. The federal government gets a lot.
Saying the same thing, we will use it strictly for.
So if it were
rural transit.
$100 to run the whole program, the federal had to take part of that out for administrative costs for the appropriation. Then the state had to take their part. We get zero. And the riders.
I believe that's all.
Then we've got to pass the cost along to the riders.
I know why I'm hard over
Just
there
done
about
without
these.
paying for all the people to administer it.
You say cost, I don't know if it, I think that's like voluntary, at least it used to.
It's suggested.
But I mean, they pay, there's a lot of retired folks that were driving out there making $12, $15 an hour, something like that. I mean, that was, I saw that as a benefit for
Right, for the
guys
county.
going to drive.
And they were buying gas over here at locally for a while. I don't know if they still are, but you know, that was sort of helpful.
Okay, item number 13. Let's give you a brief report from the last planning commission meeting back on September the 8th. They had two zoning requests. One was a request on a property located on Holt Walton Road to allow a second residence basically for the property owner, for his father, an elderly father, so he could help look after his father was perfect. They held a public hearing on it. The only person that showed up was the applicant, naturally in favor of it. Nobody was against it. Planning Commission approved it unanimously. And then there was a parcel on Parker Road where an individual requested a variance from the setback. The required setback is 90 feet from the center of the road. And they wanted to have that reduced from 90 feet to 66 feet because they wanted to build an addition onto the front of their house. And there again, the only people that showed up in favor were the applicants. Nobody showed up against it. And the Planning Commission voted unanimously to approve that. And then they had our proposed ordinance regulating cryptocurrency on it. I met with them and they agreed to tentatively approve the form that we had already approved. So then we had scheduled their public hearing and got that process started. So relatively uneventful meeting. Item number 14, this is left over from last meeting. Bill, you want to come up just in case there's any questions? I don't know if there's going to be any questions, but at the last meeting, Bill Starr is our county extension coordinator. Informed us that there was a
Position.
opportunity to fund the family and consumer science agent that we had previously.
Yes, correct.
And it would be sort of on the same terms as it was previously. It would be shared between Dooley and Pulaski County. The position will be funded mainly by the University of Georgia, but also by Dooley County and Pulaski County. And our portion of it for the initial year would be, I will say $13,000.
And I feel like that'll be a great investment. I feel the dividends that person could provide would benefit the citizens of Dooley County. So I hope y'all will, if you have any questions or concerns about it, please feel free to contact me because I just feel like it'll be a worthwhile investment.
Well, it's good, Bill, that we've already experienced having this position filled, and so we
Yes, sir.
kind of have an idea of
Yes,
knowing the asset it would be.
I'll point out one benefit of that was that Dooley County was one of the smaller counties that was picked.
That's correct.
Talking about the health study.
Yes.
There was a health study dealing with particular things that affect people throughout Georgia, but they selected Dooley County because we had that person there that could help monitor with the University of Georgia to look at some long-term things that could help with diabetes and heart disease and other things that kind of affect and obesity, things that affect a lot of people across all levels.
To give the background on it, Dooley, I believe, was one of 5 counties selected initially in the state. And they were selected based off population. They were looking at low population areas and counties that have great need for health education. And initially, the position was called a Healthier Together. It was a federal grant from the CDC. So that sort of changed into the position that Patricia had before she left, which was a family consumer science agent. So all that initial grant work, she was able to do a few more things. It gave her a little bit more freedom to be able to, develop programs for the citizens of Dooley County to become healthier, either through diet or exercise. And in just my opinion, I felt like it was a good use of resources that we have, and I hope that will continue.
Stevie, you asked for a motion today.
That's up to y'all.
Chairman, we entertain a motion. Have discussion. I make a motion that we approve the 12,956 portion of this position as we previously have.
Second the motion.
Okay, they have the motion in second. Are there any discussion on it? Now, we already had it already budgeted in.
That's fine.
And we said the first year it wouldn't be this much because it ain't gonna start till January,
We're
right?
looking at 6.
I honestly don't know the start date. That would be my thoughts. I'm not really sure. I would assume that would be the situation, but I can't speak to that 100% positive.
And usually Pulaski County has already agreed to.
That's my
Their portion.
understanding, yes, sir.
I think we said it'd be about 6,000 around the January, was it? Yeah, 6 or 8.
Be closer to,
Hmm.
would be 3. If they go into play in the effect January, to be 75% of that, so.
Yeah.
About $9,000.
Are there any other discussion on it before we vote on it? If not, all in favor by the show of hands? Okay, that motion carries.
I appreciate y'all's leadership. I think that this will be a tremendous investment in the citizens of Dooley County. And I also want to share something else with y'all today. I want to ask Mr. Quad to come up. This is one of those bittersweet things, but I wanted Quad to tell y'all personally about a decision he has made. So, Quad.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I want to say I was sitting back in front of y'all in 2018. It's been an honor to serve with y'all for actually since 2018. The work here that we have done here in Dooley County has opened up a greater, even bigger opportunity to take on further job with Rockdale County 4-H. So I'll be leaving South Georgia next Friday, be my last day here in the great city, county of Dooley County.
Hate to see you leave.
Well, we do
Oh,
too,
yeah.
and I'll be honest with y'all. Throughout my career, I've had the opportunity to work with a lot of really, really good 4-H people. Quad is at the top of my list. He's done so many things. If you don't believe everybody don't know Quad, go ride in the parade with him. Everybody screams his name. They know him. He's done a great job here. Made tremendous investments in the youth of Dooley County. I think a lot of them you'll actually see the products of the things that he's done. We have some really, really good kids right now in 4-H that I think will do great things, and they're going to do those things because they've had the leadership that Quad has provided.
Thank you for what you've done and
Thank
best wishes on you.
Wish you the
Y'all
best.
don't never begrudge nobody doing better for themselves, and can't blame you at all.
Thank
Well, we're gonna send you as a missionary to Rockdale County.
That's up there with the big boy.
It is, but
I think he can handle it.
Don't forget about
Well, I'm saying he got to be doing something right to go be up there with
he
them.
is.
That's up there with Rock, Eagle, and all that.
It's like 20 minutes from DeKalb.
Uh-huh.
What I will say is, since I've moved my office out there in 2021, I've gotten to know Quad a lot better because we're in the same space. And I can see, he works with students after school, and they have fun. There's always laughter, there's always enjoyment, but he's also going over projects with them on presentations, and they're using conference room, and they get involved, and he'll get people to come there and listen to them to make their presentations, so we'll join in and all that. So he involves people, and I've gotten to know students that he's worked with, and they all respect him, and to a T, they respect him. He doesn't have to be a disciplinarian with any of them, but what I've really been impressed with is the way he's worked between Fullington Academy and Dooley County Schools, and he's worked so the children in the community all get to know each other through a common purpose, and are proud of their community. Say, good job.
Thanks.
I'll say this, and I know I don't want to take up too much of y'all's time, but I can guarantee it that when a student shows up from Dooley County that Quad has worked with, they're as good as anybody in the state.
All the time.
Anybody. And I don't say that lightly. I mean that because I've seen it.
Steve,
Thank you.
I'll bring that later.
All right.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, we got 5 minutes for our 10 o'clock public hearing. Okay.
With so much grass cutting that was going on, and I've been watching other agencies, spray side the road and stuff, to sort of slow down the grass cutting. Can we implement that same program? That, you know, that way they won't have to mow.
Like the DOT spraying trucks.
Yeah, you know, like I said, they kill off stuff for a while. Then, you know, eventually they're gonna start growing back. But I was just watching some of them spraying in the DOT, and it slowed down the grass. So,
I'm actually talking to a company now that does that.
mhm.
I don't think we're struggling now to find labor to do what we need to do. I think we may be better off to hire a company that does it right now to get us started with the ultimate goal of us doing it ourselves. But yeah, I firmly believe after talking to this company that does it for a county in South Georgia, I can't remember what county it is off the top of my head, but he says he's confident they have eliminated at least one time mowing and potentially, he said, now you're not gonna see a lot of benefit the first year. You gotta get started. And then, but after the first year, you'll definitely start seeing the results of it. And he's hoping they could even cut their mowing times in half. Instead of cutting 4 times a year, maybe get by with only cutting it twice a year. And so anyway, I'm gonna get a guy to come make a presentation to y'all, and we'll see how it goes.
Okay. Now, I was just curious, on the 5-star road, the guy keep calling about the grass. He fixes so the road, he can travel up and down the road when it rains. But now it's becoming a path, you know, because the grass is growing all up on both sides of the road and in the middle of the road and all that kind of stuff. So, you know, if we can spray some of that out there, that'll help eliminate, you know, the grass that's growing out there. That's one of the reasons I voted also. The other thing is, I know most of us been contacted by Vivian Thomas, and I'm just curious. And I thought about that thing about, you know, she was talking about it, trying to turn the county around. Well, I would really like to hear her see what she got on the agenda. Longer weed is no fee. And I'm just curious about, you know, what a strategy is.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Well, she said she originally from Duval County. She said, I know her, but I can't, so I don't forget. And they happened to saw this on the website that we wanted to involve both population and any of the other counties in the state, and trying to see what could be, we can secretly find some of the underlying causes. So I would really like to invite her down to just talk and see what's on her mind. You know,
Ever contact Linda about getting on the agenda?
yeah, just see.
You want to
What's
do a
her name?
meeting or you want something separate?
Just the commissioners or?
Yeah, I mean, just to talk to her. She let her get on the agenda. Yeah, and see what she's talking about.
And what's her name?
Vivian Thomas.
Thomas, okay.
Yeah.
You got a phone number?
No, but she gonna call most of everybody around the table, but I don't know. Tony, y'all have it? Tim, y'all?
It's on her email. I don't see her email. She more like a grant writer and all that, I believe, yeah. So
She's part of a consulting firm. She serves as a county commissioner up there in Metro Atlanta.
yeah.
She's part of a consulting firm, and I love to hear what she has to say and then see where it goes.
I get you.
I ain't got it.
Okay, or either just have her contact me to get her on the agenda.
Okay.
If you're serious about looking into that kind of stuff, you know, you can always ask for some of our clients that they done work for.
Some success stories.
That's the best way to vet things.
Yeah. And my last thing that I had, I know we've hired some people at the road department, right?
Mhm.
Okay, how many hires did we,
We had 3, but 1 declined.
one decline?
Mhm.
Okay, but the 2 that was hired, you know, I sort of like to see them, let Rodney bring them to the meeting and be introduced, you know,
Okay.
to it.
Okay.
You know, so we'll know.
We see.
Yeah, right.
They still,
No, they haven't started yet.
Yeah,
And
okay.
Usually
Well,
we
now-
we bring them before you
Oh, okay.
that first week.
Yeah, because I would like to know who.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
you know,
Okay.
who could hire me.
Was there a problem with the other one declining? Or what happened?
He said,
Money, was it money?
he said he got it, he went back to his other employer, I think is the best way to
Oh,
put it.
that's another job.
Mhm.
And
That wasn't the road straight to it.
Mhm.
No,
Yeah, they put
no.
it over.
Mhm.
Grass mower.
and
Roads.
Yeah, we
we
need
got,
that.
how many other vacancies do we have up there, you know,
Two now.
and I know y'all probably still accepting that.
Two, yeah. But
Got it.
I'm gonna give it, I asked Rodney to give it to me next week after you get these two started Monday and see what we need to hire so we can properly advertise for.
We need to go and get the position filled.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah. Dragging that out too.
I got one last on the board here. Garbage collection, where are we on that money being collected? I know the 5 should have gone out.
I don't know off the top of my head. I'll get a report.
Has she sent 5 out? Or no?
I don't know. Let me check on that.
Mr. Chairman, I've got one quick thing I'd like to make as a community thing that I think we all want to know about. Sanford Bishop, our congressman, will be here on Sunday morning at 9:30 at the Veterans Museum.
I heard that time changed.
It's 10:15 now.
Oh, okay, they changed it.
Yeah.
All right, 10:15. All right,
10:15.
Thank you.
I did send that.
all right. So 10:15, and he has flown a flag or had the Congress fly a flag over the Capitol for the veterans of Dooley County, and we'll be presenting that to the museum. And then he'll be at Dooley Campground at 11 for the service, and he's going to celebrate the 150th year of the Tabernacle, which has been placed in the last year or so on the National Register of Historic Places. So he will be here Sunday morning, and anyone is welcome to attend both events.
So we can get with you when the time that we need to end the play. We know the time.
10:15 there, 11 o'clock at the other. And if you come to the campground, we will feed you following the service.
We'll go with church now.
Back row seats reserved?
We don't have a choir that Sunday, and so we were looking for people who are talented.
You have anybody getting fried chicken.
We do.
How did you know what was on?
We
I mean,
do.
it's only coming, we got to help us.
Daniel Jackson, who is I've known for 30 years, he and his crew will be frying the chicken. There'll also be some baked chicken for those who turn their nose up at fried chicken, and there'll be ham. And the rest, the people of Dooley County are bringing. So if you have any criticism of those,
Yeah, no, that's good.
All right, moving right along. It's time for us to hold our public hearing number 3 on the proposed tax increase. The Dooley County Board of Commissioners have tentatively adopted the 2025 millage rate, which will require an increase in property tax by 2.62%. And we'll open the public hearing now. Is anybody here to comment on the proposed tax millage rate? I don't believe so, but everybody has the opportunity. Well, like I said, the proposed millage rate that we are proposing is 17.15 mills. That's the same millage rate as last year's millage rate. 17.45, I'm sorry, that wasn't, I knew that was right. It's 17.45 mills. So let me change that right quick so I don't.
On this is the year that even though our mills are higher than Board of Education, for people on homestead, the money will be higher from the Board of Education than our mills, correct?
The Board of Education met last night, conducted their public hearing number 3. And then in their regular meeting last night, they voted unanimously to request their millage rate be, the Board of Commissioners set their millage rate at 16.404, which is the same millage rate as last year for them. So both millage rates will be the same as last year. So if you did not do any additional work to your house and Derek did not reappraise your house, and your house did not increase in value for any reason, your bill from the Board of Education would be the same as last year. Your bill from the Board of Commissioners will be slightly less if you have homestead exemption, because the county agreed to set up for that, opted into that House bill, whatever it was. It's too confusing to try to explain in my opinion. So the total millage rate is 17.45 plus 16.404. So the total millage rate would be 33.854, which is the same as it was last year. So, hearing no comments on the public hearing, we will close the public hearing at 10:07. So then the floor is open for a motion to adopt the 2025 tax levy of 17.45 mills for the county and 16.404 mills for the Board of Education.
Is that one motion or two?
Yes, that's one. That can be,
Separate.
that's, the tax levy is one document, so it can be one motion.
Oh, yeah.
I'll second, Mr. Chairman.
There's been motion and second. Do we have any other discussion on it before we vote on it? If not, all in favor by the show of hands? That motion carries.
Okay, with that millage rate, then we can adopt our 2025, our FY 25-26 budget, which will go into effect October 1. The general fund budget current year is $15,736,000. The proposed budget for next fiscal year, starting October 1, is $16,263,000, or an increase of $527,000. And the SPOS fund budget currently is $2,733,000. The proposed is $2,780,000, or an increase of $46,000. I'd like to request a motion to officially adopt those budgets.
That motion also.
There's been motion and second. Again, do we have any discussion on this? proposal? If not, all in favor by the show of hands? And the motion carried.
Mr. Chairman, I believe that's all the items I have.
Is that it? Are you serious? Sure.
Yeah, let's,
Mr. Chairman, I can make a motion to adjourn.
I second it.
Wow.
There's been motion and second. All in favor, please stand up and left. And the candy dishes are still.
I know, right?
Get time to get into it. Second hour.
Drop the cake.
It's